Hey everybody, Rorree here with the Goddess Isis Coven. The last one kind of cut off, but I was done anyway. I kind of felt like I was rambling on and on. So anyway, I am supposed to share stories about situations where we deal with low vibrational forces, and I'm here to really encourage you all to focus on raising your vibration, raising your frequency, and doing things that keep you elevated. Now, I know everybody and their grandmother is into Mary Jane these days, and I am not judging, and I could care less if you use Mary Jane or not. I don't care, okay? I do want to say that the message that I'm getting about the Mary Jane and the youth is that the Mary Jane of today is not very good for the youth of today. And so I do not encourage it. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. But my story does have something to do with the use of Mary Jane. All right, so I'm going to share. Oh, this is story time. I'm Isis. Okay. So I'm going to share a story about a time when I was doing some healing work on a long drive. So I was on this drive to do a presentation, and on the drive, let me get this centered a little bit. I feel crooked. Okay. So on this drive, we got caught into some serious traffic. So we were like 4 hours away instead of like maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours away or something. So we were really, really far away. And so I was riding in the passenger seat. And so I was like, oh, you want me to do some healing work? You know, since what else is there to do in this car for this long drive, right? And so, the person I was working with wanted to stop smoking. I was like, oh, let's work on that. And so, I was doing the work on like smoke cessation. And so I'm doing work, and this is many, many moons ago. I don't even know when it was. It was a long time ago. And I was actually living, I think, I was living in Texas or something, but I wasn't in Texas at the time. I had traveled somewhere and I was going to do a presentation or something. So anyway, so we're in the car and I start doing the work, and then, all of a sudden, I got called by another spirit out of the session. And I was like, who are you just thinking about? Because whoever you were just thinking about, I feel like that's who's calling me. And she said who she was thinking about. And it was one of her children. And so I feel like, I was like, that's who's calling me. And so I asked Spirit, can I connect to do this healing work on him, because it was like he needed healing. So we transitioned from working on her to working on him. And a little backstory: before I had gotten here, I had left my home in Texas, and I had to do some healing work on my home. No, because this is a minute ago, so I'm trying to remember how this went down. Okay, so I was here, but it came to me that I needed to do some healing work on my home because I had somebody stay in my home, and they had some low energy left in my home, and it was not good energy at all. And so I did a healing on my home. So I called back, and I had them open up all the windows. I did the healing work. I told them to do a few things, and then they closed all the windows after I finished. And so then we get on the road, we're on this road trip. And so now the son is needing his healing, right? And I don't feel like I thoroughly cleaned out from doing the house cleaning that I did on my house, right? So anyway, so I'm in the car, I'm doing this healing work on the son, and then I see him and I see all this stuff, and then I'm doing all this reading. And so I'm like, he was with this other person and they were getting high, and then entity came into his space There was also entities in the other person's space that he was with. And it was like this long story. So I'm doing all this reading and I don't remember it all now because it was literally a long freaking time ago. I mean, this might have been in 2000, I don't know, 7, something like that. It was a long time ago. All right. So anyway, so we're doing the healing work, and then I removed this being from him, and it was like weird. Like he looked like the Michelin Tire Man. I don't know if y'all remember that from back in the day, but the Michelin Tire Man used to be this white thing all bubbled up and like with bubbly looking tires all over him, but it was like white, I think. But anyway, so the kid looked like the Michelin Tire Man, and I remember removing all this crap off him or whatever. And so I'm like kind of like doing an exorcism. I'm like removing this being from him, and it was very difficult. And so I got the being removed from him, and then I gave the mother some words, and I shared with her that he was going to be really, really tired, and he was going to just like pass out and sleep all night long or whatever. And I told her whatever was going to happen. And so, but we're still in the car, right? And so we're going, and at this time we're going like 2 miles an hour, but we're in the fast lane. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I gotta upchuck, right? And so I'm like, oh my God, pull over. And I was like, I gotta, and we couldn't pull over fast enough. And so like, if we're in the fast lane, even though we were going 2 miles an hour, so we we're trying to pull over, and I couldn't open the right door, the passenger door, because I'd been opening to the rest of the traffic. And then there was a bag from something, food or something, and I picked it up and I like upchucked in the bag. And then I remember, what was it before? I just remember, no, it was before I upchucked. Okay, so before I upchucked, my body like did some craziness. Like my body went like this. My body like flung up here and then went bam on the dashboard. And then my body went up in the air. And then I yelled out in the name of, whatever, help me. Like I screamed like, help me. It was craziness. In the car, and then I vomited, okay? So it was so crazy. And so, and we've run out of time, so I'm going to finish this in the next one.